Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to assemble a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world, one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing, a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. To gain that understanding, I am mining the intersection of psychology, theology, and philosophy to make you a better writer. This is episode 51. Name that character trait. Roy gets braces. Well, our reward for going through the breakdown of another part of the empathy group is we get to play another game of Name That Character Trait, where we start with a story that fits on a file card. And we'll see if we can name the character trait that predominates in the story. Roy gets braces. Roy wasn't looking forward to lunch hour. For once in his life, he hoped that biology class would go on right through lunch. You see, his mouth felt overstuffed with his new braces. His jaw felt like he'd been in a tug-of-war with a bulldog, with him and the dog both holding on by their teeth. But worse, way worse, when the lunch hour finally arrived and he walked into the cafeteria, he felt like everyone was staring at him. Name that character trait. Okay, let's have fun with it. I will wait a little bit so that you can pause the recording if you want to give it a try with which one of the four groups you would most want to start with. So let you hit pause if you want to. Okay, you ready to go? Well, I think we could probably rule out empathy because this doesn't seem to be about relationships. And he doesn't seem to be looking for wisdom, so we could probably rule out insight. That narrows us down to resilience and balance. So why don't we explore a little bit? Let's take a look at resilience and see if we can find anything that seems to fit that group. Here in the resilience group, we have the subgroups courage and power. Well, he's not exactly on top of the world. I think we can rule out power. Well, what about courage? I think we can see some aspects of courage in this scene for sure. Take a look at patience, for example, enduring suffering. He's already talking about how his jaw feels like he's been playing tug-of-war with a bulldog. That kind of sounds like he's suffering, and patience would definitely be required to deal with that. But he did say the worst thing of all was walking into the cafeteria, and that wasn't about his jaw hurting. Well, what about perseverance? Perseverance is meeting a tough obstacle, and it took courage for him to walk into the cafeteria feeling the way he was. There's definitely some perseverance there. But he's already come into the room, and the problem hasn't gone away. Well, constancy, he's going to have those braces on for a long time. No doubt constancy is going to come into the picture at some point, but it doesn't seem to be the main ticket right now. So we would have to say patience, yes, perseverance, yes, but neither one seems to be the main trait. So let's take a look at the balance group. Here in the balance group, let's see if we can spot anything. We seem to have a big issue right away when he walks into the room. He feels like everyone is looking at him. That sure sounds like attention to me. So if it's attention, then it's meekness or modesty. let's take a look and see if we can go a little bit deeper. Modesty has to do with seeking attention. Roy doesn't like the attention he perceives that he's getting. So I think we can rule out modesty, but meekness, attention given to others? That seems odd, and yet we've ruled out everything else. So is there something missing? And the answer is yes, there is. Meekness is indeed the trait that's involved, but we haven't been able to dive very deeply into meekness. We've only really given it basically this one line, attention given to others, and a few words to go along with it, but we haven't been able to dive deeply into the lost states and the victory states and the struggles around meekness. So we need to do a little bit more of that to understand why meekness is the key here. The full definition of meekness is being comfortable within yourself so that you can give attention to others, so that your mind isn't stuck on yourself. Well, with that slightly expanded definition, now it really seems apparent what's going on here. Roy's attention isn't really being given to others because he's so worried about himself. He's trapped in his own mind. He's trapped in his own fears, his own self-consciousness. And that is a classic lost state of meekness. Interesting thing, the meek shall inherit the earth, so the saying goes. If the meek are going to inherit the earth, that always seems a little bit odd because in our society, we tend to equate meek with milquetoast, meek with, I can't do anything, don't look at me, which is actually the lost state of meekness. The victory state of meekness is actually a superpower. If we can manage to be perfectly meek, we can do anything because there's no self-consciousness. There's no worry about what anyone in the world is thinking about us. We're just free to go forward into the world and give what we have to give to others. So meekness, indeed, if it can be achieved, is a superpower. And right now, Roy is lacking that superpower. He's being forced to give his attention to himself. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little interlude. And again, I'd like to remind you that I have a book that's going to be coming out pretty soon. My new book, Writing with Emotion, is a summary of the 35 lesson course that I taught. It's dense, it's jam-packed, it's color pages. It is a fantastic resource for how to use emotions in writing. And I'm making it available for as close to free as I can without personally going bankrupt. I'm going to make it available just at the cost to print it and the cost to ship it. Other than that, it's going to be completely free. And if you would like to know when it becomes available, you can sign up on my email list to be notified. My web address is www.kathleenspracklin.com/earlybird. The D's kind of cut off there, but it's earlybird. And you will be the first to know when the book is ready. I'm thinking the target date that I'm working toward is April 22nd, but I haven't heard back from the printer yet, so that at this moment that's quite tentative. But I hope you enjoyed our little interlude tonight, and I will see you tomorrow to finish off the empathy group. Bye-bye.